Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be doing an extremely deep dive on electromagnetic fields. So during this presentation, I will be talking about the Earth's natural pulsed electromagnetic field, what it does and what are the benefits, what interferes with this, also known as EMFs or electrical smog, how to reduce your exposure, and finally, we will discuss the health benefits of PEMF therapy. So our Earth emits certain frequencies that we refer to as the Earth's pulsed magnetic field. These are Schumann frequencies, and this is what Tesla was studying. He was really studying the use of the Earth's own energy to benefit humans and to power things. Had we adopted his theories on this type of energy, we would all have free and healthy energy resources that would not hurt us or the earth. But instead, in order to make a profit, our electric energy system is based on AC or alternating current electricity. And actually, a fun fact, the Earth's field is charged by lightning striking the surface. This is a very beautiful and intentional design. So here are the benefits of the Earth's magnetic field. It recharges our cellular TMP. This stands for our transmembrane potential. This is the electric pressure between the inside and the outside of your cells. So this actually has to do with charging your cells, kind of like a battery, with the proper electrical energy. So the cell membranes can convert electromagnetic energy from the earth into other forms of energy in the body. So kind of think how a plant takes energy from the sun and can use it for growth and nutrition. Our body does the same thing with the Earth's magnetic field. So being exposed to this field also increases ATP production in the mitochondria. So this is our cellular combustion of energy. This is also referred to as the Krebs cycle, Krebs, Krebs cycle. So inside of each of our 100 trillion cells, there are 200 to 300 mitochondria. These turn the food that we eat into energy by converting glucose and fatty acids into high energy electrons that are stored. Our mitochondria have their own DNA, which is really interesting. So they're almost a cell within a cell. 90% of our energy comes from our mitochondria, you guys. So think about how much today we're dealing with chronic fatigue, stress, being overtired, feeling like you slept but you just can't get enough energy for the day. This is a huge problem in the wellness of our society as a whole. The mitochondria also have a rich pool of electrons in their membranes, and the metabolism of hydrogen to oxygen produces the ATP via that Krebs cycle that I was talking about. And this happens via the electron transport chain. So the Earth's field enhances the sodium-potassium pump. Sodium-potassium are electrolytes that conduct electricity across the cell. So we need this in order for electricity to pass over the cell and move energy through it. It increases the cellular pH to make the cells of our body more alkaline. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, acidity versus alkalinity. So our body operates within a narrow range of 7.25 to 7.35 blood pH. This is specifically in the blood. So your body will do anything to keep the proper blood pH, including stealing minerals from your bones. However, our interstitial fluids can become more acidic and drop into a lower pH. So most people, you will find, are walking around at more of a 5.5% pH on their urine, saliva, and sweat. So you can test this by using a pH strip on your urine, sweat, and saliva. So if your interstitial fluids are acidic, then it is probably likely that your body is stealing minerals from your bones to keep your blood the proper pH, and I will get into how to fix that later. So our beautiful Earth's magnetic field also improves the oxygen uptake and assimilation into our cells. This is extremely important. It lowers blood viscosity, so I think blood thickness. So it makes our blood a healthy thickness, and it improves circulation and microcirculation. So we have our circulation in our main blood vessels and veins, and then we also have those teeny tiny little capillaries. Some are as thin as a strand of hair. and little tiny one by one blood cells have to get in there to oxygenate the tissue that's being reached by those little tiny capillaries. And finally, the Earth's PEMF creates healthy openings in the cells for improved nutrient transport and elimination. This is really important. So this is basically our cells being able to detox. So there are so many benefits of the beautiful electromagnetic energy that's coming from our Earth. Unfortunately, our connection to this field is interfered with because of modern society. So we all wear rubber shoes, we walk on pavement, we live in buildings. We are physically and physiologically disconnected from the Earth's natural surface. So on top of that disconnection, there are also many man-made insults to the Earth's natural energy field, which affects how our body works on a cellular level. These are the man-made interferences that we're mostly dealing with. Power lines, lights in our home, wiring in our home, microwave ovens, wireless devices, baby monitors, computers, thermostats, smart appliances, cordless phones, TVs, hair dryers, electric toothbrushes, literally anything electric. And then one of the bigger insults is going to be the distance wireless communication, the cell phones, the internet routers, and the cell towers. All of these things combined create an electromagnetic smog that interferes with our body and the Earth's natural electromagnetic field. So these physically weaken the Earth's frequencies and our ability to connect to them. So as previously illustrated with the listed benefits, we deal with heavy negative side effects of not being connected and from being exposed to the wrong frequencies. This affects our cellular pH, our energy production, our detoxification processes, the Krebs cycle, circulation, oxygenation. So now all of a sudden we have a foundation for disease processes because our bodies are not functioning properly, and this is a really big deal. So how can we assess our individual exposure? Because guys, I can almost guarantee if you are dealing with the negative effects of EMFs and you go to your doctor, they're not looking at this. They're not asking you, what is your exposure? Do you live next to a cell phone tower? Do you keep your cell phone by your bed at night? Are you doing anything to protect yourselves from EMFs? They don't ask you this. This is not a consideration in modern medicine today. This is terrible because this is a huge insult and it's happening all over the world. And what I want you guys to understand is even places that are underdeveloped and maybe don't have as many cell phone towers and don't have as many modern electrical things, we are still casting an electric net, if you will, across the entire Earth for communication with each other. So it's still everywhere and it's still suppressing the Earth's PEMF. Okay, so here's how we assess our individual exposure. You can find a natural practitioner that uses a Zyto scanner or another biofeedback device that measures electromagnetic radiation. So I have one at my office, and this is part of my intake of every client. I find out, do we have insult from EMFs? You can visit lessemf.com and order a radiation detector. It's just a little handheld device that you would walk around your home with, and it would actually show you how much radiation is coming from things like your fridge and your cell phone, all those kind of things. So you would measure the radiation coming from your devices as well as insults that may be coming from outside of your home through the walls or the windows. So if you live in a high-rise building, you have to remember you're also absorbing everyone else's EMFs from their routers, their phones, etc. So for example, when you go to get on your internet, you can typically see 5 or 6 of your neighbors' networks. And I mean, I live in a house on a lot and I can still see 5 of my neighbors' networks. So imagine how much worse it is for you when you do live in a high-rise building. These things go through walls. So it doesn't matter. They are literally designed to go through walls so that think about it. You have access to your internet in your whole house, even though your router is only in one spot. So we are not only getting ourselves overexposing ourselves with our own routers, but all of our neighbors' routers, all of the cell phone towers, all of these things really create an unhealthy bath of the wrong kind of electromagnetic field. So really you need to figure out where the most radiation is coming from, and then you can focus on treating those areas. So for example, let's say you're in your bedroom and the whole wall that your bed is up against is just coming up hot on your radiation detector. You can actually go to lessemf.com and buy EMF paint. You can paint that wall. If there's a window on it, you can treat that window. Obviously, the paint is probably just one color, so you would paint the wall and then paint your color over it and cover the window, so you're eliminating the threat from that wall altogether. They also have just some, there's some simple stuff that I will go over a little bit later in the presentation that everybody can kind of do. But if you find something really, really insulting that's coming through, it's important that you assess and treat this. This could be happening at your home. It could be happening at your office. So make sure you take a look at all the places where you're spending a lot of your time. So action steps, what can you do now? These are some simple things that everybody can do without even, measuring anything. Everybody can do these steps now. So you can switch all of your light bulbs to broad spectrum incandescent and LED light bulbs. Again, that is broad spectrum incandescent, which means you're getting several spectrums or types of light. So this is healthier for us. You really want to get rid of compact fluorescent light bulbs. They're toxic. They emit a very dirty, unhealthy type of electricity. Obviously, you guys, you want to minimize cell phone use. Use airplane mode as much as possible, especially if it's on your body. And you should also be putting your phones in a Faraday bag at night. Whatever you do, please don't sleep with a cell phone next to your bed unless it's in a Faraday bag. So if you're one of those people that has to have your phone on during the night in case of a call, you're an ER doctor, or you have kids, keep it across the room or in the hallway where you can still hear the ringer, but not on the nightstand. Just get it away from you. There's no reason that you need to sleep with a little hot spot of radiation just radiating on you all night, especially if you're having sleep issues, you guys. I have so many people that come in with sleep issues and they're scanning off the charts for EMFs, or not even necessarily off the charts. They might minimally be scanning for EMFs, and they're experiencing sleep disturbances. This affects your neurotransmitters. This affects the way your cells work. If you are having trouble sleeping, and even if you're not, just get it away from you at night. This is something very easy that everyone can do. You can also get a cell phone case that blocks EMFs, and in addition to that, you can put EMF stickers on your cell phone and on all of your electronic devices. Put it on your router, put it on your TVs, put it on your remotes, your laptops, obviously your phone. Just get those everywhere, okay? Also, don't keep your phone in your pocket or in your purse or right next to your body unless it's in airplane mode. I also like to put my phone in a Faraday pouch before it goes into my purse. So a Faraday pouch is something you can just get on Amazon or lessemf.com, and it's just basically, it has a lining of probably some sort of aluminum type foil that blocks the signal. One of the things that really is hard to see is when I go to a concert and I see all these teenagers and their phones are tucked into their bra or into their front pocket, right next to their ovaries and right next to their heart and their breast tissue. This is really dangerous. If you have a teenager, please talk to them about that. Okay, another great thing you can do is you can turn off your Wi-Fi when it's not in use. You can even wire it to a switch on the wall. So maybe in the evening for dinner, Wi-Fi goes off. If it has to come back on because you're watching apps or whatever, app TV, that's fine. Turn it back on and it can go off at night. This really will significantly reduce the EMFs in your home. You want to avoid any smart appliances, especially ones that talk to each other or talk to apps or have screens instead of buttons. So you guys, there really is no reason that you have to have a fridge that has an LED screen on it. I mean, just get a regular fridge. You don't need a washing machine that tells you when it's done. Don't be lazy. Just get normal appliances, normal thermostats. We don't have to have all these fancy things that are talking to each other. It just creates more frequencies. Baby monitors. This is really blows my mind that mothers don't realize this, that these are terrible with how much EMFs they emit. and you're just putting it next to your baby that doesn't even have a fully formed skull. And all the time and all night, this little baby is sitting with a radiation device right next to them. Use a cordless one instead. And also, you guys, don't keep your baby in a room that's close to the internet router. Babies have died from this, okay? We want to avoid electric beds, anything that plugs in and adjusts, has a massager, anything that plugs in you want to avoid. Electric blankets, avoid. Electric heating pads, and even alarm clocks if you guys take the time to actually get the radiation measuring device. You will see this stuff is incredibly hot for EMFs. And just as an FYI, your phone alarm clock will still work when it's in a Faraday bag. This is really important. You want to find out how close you are to a cell tower so that the next time you move, you want to make a conscious effort to be as far away from one as possible. This also goes for power lines. Make a conscious effort. If you see huge power lines where you're considering moving, maybe that's not the greatest idea. I definitely recommend opting out of smart meter installation with the local power company. And on lessemf.com, these are really cool. It's a full bed canopy that you can put over your bed that would block all the EMFs while you're sleeping. There's also the window treatments. There's the EMF blocking paint that I discussed earlier. All of these things you can do so that you can customize your home to deal with these specific threats. But finally, the most important thing that you can do is invest in a PEMF device. So what does PEMF do for the body? This stands for Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Device. A PEMF device will simulate the same Schumann frequencies that are emitted from the earth. I suggest getting a mat that you can lay on. So some brands that I've seen include QRS, Beamer. There are several big players in this space. This is an investment of about $3,500 to $5,000 or more, depending on what you want to spend. And again, I call it an investment, not an expense, because you are investing in your health. All you need is 8 minutes a day to get the benefits, and the whole family can use it. Some of them have, different programs for sleep and injuries, and there's some really cool things out there. So this device basically resets the body and the brain back to the natural earth frequencies and cleanses the discordant and static electrical buildup. So when the blood is cleansed of these bad frequencies, it becomes oxygenated and returned to a healthy status, meaning under the wrong polluted frequencies or electromagnetic smog, the blood will actually clump together. It loses its charge and it cannot bind with oxygen properly. So this clumping makes it difficult for the red blood cells to pass into the capillaries where the nutrients and oxygen are released. So we're literally starving ourselves of oxygen when we're existing just in this world as is. With the PEMF mat, we are correcting this oxygen deprivation, so to speak. So you guys, that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I know we went over a lot of stuff, which is why I wanted to do more of a PowerPoint so that you guys can reference this. And I am based in Colorado, but I do virtual wellness across the US, and I do offer free 15-minute phone consultations through dmdnaturalmedicine.com. Thanks so much.